They're running out of everything but rules. Firebird 2015. When having a full tank of gas makes you fair game.
Killing goes on.
Accidents.
Murders.
In the not-too-distant future, the U.S. government outlaws all gas-burning vehicles, except for the gas-burning vehicles which chase the other gas-burning vehicles in an attempt to stop them.
Burner! That's right, I am a burner.
Shot entirely in the desert, where it's free. It's Firebird 2015 AD, a 1981 film where you can actually see the shame on the faces of the actors.
Firebird 2015 AD. Driving force for freedom. Firebird 2015 AD.
The two most feared villains in cinema history finally meet in 1971. Dracula versus Frankenstein. Throw in Lon Chaney Jr. in his last film appearance as an axe-wielding maniac, a Dracula with an afro, and a Frankenstein creature with a face that looks like a raw steak, and you're left with number 30 on the list of the worst films of all time. Dracula versus Frankenstein. Ed Wood is notoriously remembered as one of the worst directors in cinema history.
Lobo, take the girl to my quarters.
1955's Bride of the Monster is one of the reasons why.
Let me loose. Do you hear me? You will be soon as big as a giant. Or, like all the others, dead.
Bela Lugosi mumbled most of his lines throughout the film. Tor Johnson bumps into almost everything on the set, and the infamous fake octopus was actually stolen from the Republic Studios backlot, but they forgot to steal the motor, so they just wiggle it around. From the festering bowels of the early 80s comes Smokey and the Bandit, Part 3. When Burt Reynolds decided not to reprise his role as the Bandit, the makers of this film originally shot it with Jackie Gleason, playing both the sheriff and the bandit, cleverly titling this gem, Smokey is the Bandit.
As of this instant, Junior, we're in hot pursuit.
But when test audiences became confused and downright stupefied, parts of the movie were reshot with Jerry Reed playing the Bandit. The release date was postponed, and the title was switched to Smokey and the Bandit, Part 3.
Open your eyes and hear the magic.
Imagine a stew with the ingredients of disco music, a Greek tragedy, a roller rink, Olivia Newton-John, and Gene Kelly. And the concoction you're left with is what one film critic simply declared Xanadu. From 1980, Xanadu. With a budget of $20 million, Xanadu grossed barely half that back in its entire theatrical run, possibly because it played as a 99-cent double feature with the Village People's film, Can't Stop the Music.
Xanadu, where time stops and the magic never ends. Xanadu, coming this summer.
president picked him.
We need you, Leonard.
To save the world.
When a movie is bad, it receives a Razzie Award, which is the equivalent of an Oscar for bad movies. When a movie is horribly bad, it receives 2 Razzie Awards. And when a movie is as terribly bad as Leonard Part 6, it gets 3 Razzie Awards, and its producer and star Bill Cosby goes on several talk shows at its release and denounces the film as truly dreadful, advising people not to see it. That's how bad it is.
At number 26, it's Leonard Part 6.
Anytime the title of a movie is hand-drawn, it's destined to be bad. Somewhere on a tropical island, 2 tribes exist. The Wongo tribe, who are comprised of beautiful women and ugly men, and on the other side of the island is the Guna tribe, which is the opposite. Handsome men and ugly women.
But they're men. Well, that's what we came here for, wasn't it?
And when that old tricky bastard called love gets involved, the story really takes off.
Angor, you spoke the truth about these women of Wongo.
This one's mine. He's cute.
The incredible acting in the film, coupled with the uncanny realism of jungle life, makes The Wild Women of Wongo the 25th worst film ever made.
Shut up!
Okay, banga banga.
Since when do you talk a native language?
I just started today.
Well, what'd he say?
What'd he say? I don't even know what I said.
Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla is a B-movie all around with a debatable all-star cast.
Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo turn an island paradise into the zaniest madhouse in the 7 seas.
That is, if you consider the Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis rip-off duo of Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo stars, plus a washed-up Bela Lugosi playing none other than a mad scientist.
Run for your life! Go on, get out of here, run for your life! What am I, dumb or something?
One half of this deservedly unfamous duo of Duke and Sammy was actually sued by Jerry Lewis for copying his, well, his everything. But the lawsuit didn't prevent this flop from being filmed for just under $50,000 on a 9-day shoot. And yes, it's another film with a gorilla in it.
Enjoying the last of the sun, eh?
Oh, doctor! Sit down.
Boris Karloff's contract with Universal Pictures ran out in 1939. Apparently, so did his status as the master of horror, because in 1940, he made The Ape with Monogram Pictures.
She'd have been just 18 today. She was to have worn that. I couldn't save her, and I couldn't save her mother. I hadn't the weapons to fight the disease that killed them, but I have now.
Karloff plays Dr. Adrian, a scientist mad with passion towards curing polio. All the while perusing the town at night in the skin of an escaped circus ape that he killed. A tricky plot, indeed.
The dog.
And Karloff always has his famous dying scene.
There. You see?
As did this film.